Where did I put it? Today. Oh, shit. Give me my pen. Good morning, CPA, Alb, and R. Luke, welcome. No, November. Oh, wait, first. November 5th. Welcome, Kate. Miss Umar, welcome. Okay, so I'm just going to start the Satnam up. If you saw any of my content that was posted like this is kind of what we're going to be talking about. Welcome, D. I just want to give a couple of minutes, let people come in. 10 o'clock on the 10:01. There we go. All right. So, first of all, before I did this, Johnny Be Good, welcome. The first thing I did to pull the energy, and I did that because what flipped up was death. And the reason I want to talk about that for a moment is because what it means is transformation, right? And I will pull a couple cards as we go, but the reason I did this is for the energy, because when we understand what rage is actually trying to teach us, and I have an entire content series, it's like my Fire and Flow series, which will be up on my website as it's posted, so it will be slow, and that's fine. But what I thought was really interesting was on the bottom of the deck, first death came up, and then we have towers. Not all towers are bad. In fact, when we look at them in that aspect as, oh, it's horrible, my life's falling apart. No, it's showing you your hard lines. It's showing you how to start with a stable foundation. And sometimes everything has to go for you for that to happen. Welcome, Enza and Nick and Johnny Country. So for the people that didn't see this content posted on my socials, Babia, welcome. And Petite, welcome. Okay. It's called Rage as a Teacher too. So I'm just going to give you kind of the outline. Anger is not the enemy. It's information. It's the boundary that was crossed, the no that wasn't honored. When rage speaks, listen. Rage isn't wrong. It's the body saying enough. Before we can release it, we have to let it tell us what hurt us. When we validate and process our anger, it becomes fuel instead of fire. From a place of safety, not survival, we can use that energy to create, to transform. That's the true alchemy of healing and manifestation. So this is what I wanted to talk about this week. I posted about it on my socials. I did a voiceover after asking some questions because it's just about getting curious. Welcome, Nancy and User and JF. So the reason we're speaking about it is most time you always see me, I'm calm, I'm happy, I'm doing other things. That doesn't mean I'm not human. That doesn't mean I haven't had to process rage. That doesn't mean I haven't been angry and upset. And it took a lot. It took many, many tries to learn to sit with that and understand it. But what it's doing is it's teaching us our bottom line. It's teaching us our moral code, our moral compass, our bottom line, our line in the sand that says, no, I've had enough. I've tried to do this, but because a lot of us, I want to say, are empaths, we're helpers. We want to help people, which can very easily, if we're not doing it properly, turn into enabling. And when we get to that side of it, now we're putting our stuff to the side and we're not helping ourselves. And we're not helping them either because we're enabling them, and that's not good either. Welcome, Randy. So this is what I want to speak about. I'm sorry if I keep looking down. It's because I have some notes, and because I love to tell stories and I love to talk a lot, I can also go off the rails onto one too long, and I don't want to keep everyone here for 500 hours. So I just want you to remember feeling rage, feeling anger, feeling that doesn't mean you're not healing. It doesn't mean you're going backwards. It means you're exactly where you're meant to be. It means you're healing. So don't let fear or shame, sorry, these requests, I gotta learn how to turn them off. Don't let fear or shame stop you from walking through this beautiful part of your journey. Because once you understand exactly where it's guiding you, what it's trying to teach you, that space becomes one of the most powerful places of manifestation. So keep going. You're creating your peace, you're creating your power, and you're creating your future. So that was this ad. Okay, so this was meant to get curious. Now, along with it on the next day, were some questions. There were some follow-up questions, just some get curious questions. And the reason they're there is because it's not about punishing yourself. It's not about, for example, you're driving, someone cuts you off, and you're like, what the F, da-da-da, and you're mad, and you're angry. Okay, it's because what happened, they made you feel fear, right? You don't actually wish harm on those people. You're angry in that moment, okay? And I catch myself too. I'll be like, what happened? Oh, that's such an asshole. And I'm like, nope, nobody got hurt. It's okay. Welcome. Yes, welcome. So it's about checking yourself. It's understanding. I have a right to be upset because they put fear or anger or any of those things over me. They imposed on my boundary, on what I felt was my boundary. There's some other things we need to realize that, welcome, CCJ. There's some things we need to realize too, that if we don't speak our boundaries, a lot of people don't know if they've crossed them because not everybody's self-aware, and it takes time to become more self-aware. It's not something that's just, some people are naturally like that, and it's much easier for them. But with all the programming and all of this, the media and all the things that happen in our lives, it's very easy to just kind of tune out and be very self-involved, but not from an open space, from a learning space. It's from an autopilot, just get me through the day space, and that's when things become very confusing. And as you start to heal and you're going through all the things, there's going to be rage, and you can have rage at your own self too. How come I didn't stand up for myself that way? How come I didn't do that? And it's not a bad thing. That's you asking questions. And when you learn how to ask those questions without beating yourself up, oh, you're stupid, oh, you're this, oh, why did this happen? You don't want to do that. But when you get to that space where, why did I do that? Why did that make me so angry? And you can ask those questions. Hi, Val. Good morning. I'm just telling, today I'm starting my Fire and Flow content series. So every 3 days, I'll be talking about, like today is Rage is the Teacher too. And as we go forward, for 2 days, I will post the content on my social media. The next day will be like a voiceover with some questions, just get curious. And then on the third day, for the people that are interested, they can come and we can have these discussions about it. So if you've seen anything like this on my social media, I posted on my TikTok too. That's the one we're discussing today. But I have a whole month's worth of them, and I'm already working on the next month. But it's things that have helped me. Welcome, Dave. Along the way, we have to think about it. We get angry or mad, and we all want to be happy and love and light, and we all wish the best, but let's be realistic. That's not the way life works. So when we get to that space and we get angry and we're like, oh, I'm going backwards, oh, I'm screwing up, oh, I'm doing that. No. It's saying, okay, what can you learn in this situation? What happened? What made you mad? Are you mad at yourself? Are you mad at somebody else? Are you mad at both? And then when you get there, you can really think, how do I move forward from that? What is it teaching me? What boundary was it that was crossed that made me so upset, that created so much fear in my body, that made me feel this amount of rage? And then how can I take that rage and use that? Because that's one of your best manifestation places. What you're going to speak, you're speaking life instead of death. Welcome, Ricardo. When you get to the space, Instead of saying, I hate you, I'm so angry at you, blah, blah, blah. I hate that this happened. I hate that this bothers me. I hate that this is a trigger. So now I know these are some of my boundaries that are not okay and they cannot be crossed. But how do I speak that into existence without saying, you're a piece of crap, I wish death on you, because we get angry and we spew venom. And I know because I used to be the queen of it. My mouth can be very, very vile when I'm angry and I'm mad. And that doesn't make it okay. And being more conscious of that allows us the space to actually learn from that. And I tell you, I used to make grown men cry when I would get really angry, and and I never felt good about it ever. I would always feel worse and worse and worse. And every chance I got, I tried to apologize. 10:10 on the clock. But that's how we end the cycle. And if we want to move forward in a better way, feel that rage, sit with it, understand it. But then it's about getting curious. Okay, so I have some questions that are just general, but they're helpful. Okay, and did you feel guilty for feeling that rage? And if so, why? Because rage is an emotion, and it's something that absolutely everybody has the ability to have, and there's nothing wrong with feeling that. But when you feel guilt for that, that's a shame. That's a programming. That's someone telling you that your stuff shouldn't matter as much as somebody else's. And when that happens, that just tells you, well, close down, shut it out. I'm a bad person. I should not feel rage. When that happens, you create this whole cover of shame, this whole, well, I didn't do that, and then you start beating yourself. You're picking up that torch that someone else told you you're not allowed to feel that. That's not okay, and it's not true. And when you can get to there and be like, I felt guilty. Why do I feel shame for that? I shouldn't feel shameful for that. I have every right to be mad. Should I be wishing death on those people that made me angry? No. So we need to understand, instead of speaking, go to hell, I'm mad at you, you're a piece of crap, blah, 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 all that. No, we don't want to do that anymore. I'm mad, you made me angry, and you don't even have to speak it to them. It's speaking it out into the universe. I feel this rage, I need to understand why. Can you help me understand why this rage is bothering me so much, why I feel so strong about it? And I promise you, the universe is going to guide you with love. If you're showing up for yourself with love and saying, I'm not mad at myself, I'm full of rage right now and I can't understand why, but I desperately need to understand why, I promise you, the universe is going to show you and guide you and bring you people like me, random things that show up that are just going to answer those questions that are like helping you figure out why. And I had to learn a little bit here, a little bit there. I believe in this world that not one thing on this planet is 100% right. There's nobody on this world that can convince me. Okay, and I know that because how I learned to heal. I didn't learn through $1,000 books and this. I had to start with the very smallest things. I am, what I'm grateful for. And I had to retrain that brain and reframe that thinking. And then I would get stuck every single time because why do I feel this deep, deep rage? Why do I feel the shame for feeling this rage? I didn't do anything to deserve this. So that's why. That was the beginning. I didn't do anything to deserve this. Did I help it along? Did I allow it? Yes. So now that's why I'm feeling that rage and that shame and that guilt. Okay, so when you turn it back and you take accountability on those things, that doesn't make what somebody else did okay. But what it does, it says, okay, I allowed this, I did that, I accepted that, I enabled that. So now you're taking your accountability. Now the rest of the accountability, what they did, those are also your boundaries. These are your bottom lines, okay? These are where I can change things. These are where I have the ability to speak up and make something different happen. Now, these other things that are accountability, what someone did when they overstepped, okay, they overstepped. Did I tell them they overstepped? Did I stop that? Or did I continue to enable it? So now there's another question. But when you get to that point and you can speak that out and jot it down, talk to yourself, do a voice note, whatever it takes in that moment. Sometimes it's not going to be 1,000% I can fix it right now. But what it is those questions. Keep that question, write it down, jot it down, put it somewhere. And when you have a moment, sit with it and ask yourself. But don't ask out of anger. You got to ask out of curiosity. Why is it I feel this way, right? And then we have another one. Did you tell yourself you should have handled it better? We always think we should handle it better. But did we know how to handle it better? Did you have the ability? Was someone teaching you that? Thank you, Val. Did you know how? If you didn't know how can you punish yourself? Is there a way that you can look into it? Is there a little bit of research, a little bit of digging you can do? Even if it's a quick Google search, something to help me. I promise you, when you start asking the universe is going to send you exactly what you need. And then we had, what if you didn't do anything wrong? Well, that's what it's telling you. If I know I didn't do anything wrong and I stood with integrity and I did the right things and they still crossed my boundaries, it's not about you. You can't take it personally anymore. You have to understand that whatever's happening is coming from their level of knowledge, their level of understanding and accountability. And you can't change somebody else. So when you can do that, I'm telling you, once you can accept that and take that listen and hear it and speak it out of your own mouth, they do not understand what they've done. That rage then suddenly turns into compassion. That same compassion that you show for yourself, that doesn't mean enabling and saying, hey, come do it again, it's okay. No, but it says, I have compassion. I understand, because I how many times have I screamed at somebody because I couldn't understand and I couldn't even understand what I was feeling. So I just wanted to be heard. Maybe they just wanted to be heard but didn't know how to express it. There's always another reason, and we don't have to know their reason. We just have to know if we know we did all the things that we're supposed to do and we did them right and we did them with kindness, with compassion, truly we are living what we can do at our very best. And then we take accountability for our end. If we've done all the things, then we have to let it go. It's not our burden to carry, right? So then we had another one. What if anger was just showing you a boundary, a need, or a truth? And that's usually what that anger is showing you. So the need that you may have, or a need that they have. It doesn't even have to be you. A need that they have or a need that you have. A boundary, where your boundary line is. These are information. It's some of the best information you're ever going to find, because that made me that angry to bring me to a point of rage. That says to me, that's my line in the sand. You cannot cross. They cannot cross. Nobody can cross this line. That is a learning moment. From this line, you know, like I can be kind, I can be giving, I can be empathetic, I can be all of the things. But this is my line in the sand. And if you cross that, you know, you'll have warning, warning, warning. You're getting too close, too close, too close. Once you cross that, you know, you're done. And it's not about wishing death or any of those crazy things. You've now learned what your line is. Now you know how to stand up for that boundary, right? Then we have, if you're not broken for feeling it, that's the most important thing. And you're not going backwards. When you get to that point where you think you're going backwards, you feel shame. That shame comes back in. Oh no, I'm not doing this right. How can I be healing and doing light and love and all the wonderful things if I'm feeling such anger and such rage? Because look at all the things going on in the world. Rage is one of the biggest teachers when we learn not to chase it, when we learn not to allow it to consume us, when we learn to just sit with it and then understand which part of what can I control, what can I not control. Welcome, Garfield. So when you sit with that and you feel that rage, and if there's something that you say, can I control this? No, it has to be out of my heart and mind. I can't feel rage for something that I cannot control. I can dislike something, I can speak my piece on it, but if there's no control over it, we can't sit in it and we can't let it consume us, because that what happens is now we're sitting in that pit and we're not able to get out of it, even something we can't control. And anything that we cannot control should be out of our hearts and out of our minds. So just remember that underneath that rage, there's always a message. Okay, what hurts you still matters. It's always going to matter. And don't rush to fix or silence it. Not everybody's going to validate it for you, and that's okay. It's not up to them to validate for you. You validate it for yourself. I feel that rage. I want to know why. Help me understand why. And when you get to that point, that's when this comes in. This is why when I pulled it before, which kind of just blew my mind, was the card that I pulled, just curious, because I want to make sure that I'm aligned with my energy. So when I'm talking these things, this is a very important part of manifestation. It's a very important part of self-love, self-healing, and showing up for yourself. So everyone's like love and light and all these things, but we get angry and we get mad, and it's okay to do that. Some of my biggest and best manifestations have come out of pure rage, because I learned how to sit with it. It wasn't just I'm angry and I'm gonna go kill the world. No, I'm learning the rage. I'm learning how to understand it. What is teaching me? How can I transform that? How can I take the tower, which was at the bottom of the deck? When you understand, rage is that tower. It's crumbling. All of those things. It's saying, that is my absolute line in the sand. Now I know that. What information has that showed me? What is it teaching me? Feel it. Validate it. I have every absolute right to feel that rage. I have every absolute right to be angry. Now, why am I angry? Why is it there? What is it teaching me? And you're maybe not going to get it right away. Maybe it's going to take a couple times asking. Maybe it's going to take a couple times sitting with it. Healing is not linear. And even when you feel that rage and you think you're over it, and then something comes up and triggers it again, it's because you learned this part, but there was another layer, and you can't get under there until you've understood this one. So we're always healing, and there's always more layers. It's just like an onion. But when you can learn to think about it that way, oh, that still makes me angry, but why? Because I understand this already, and it's going to show you. I promise you, when you start asking these questions, the universe starts sending you ways, starts sending you people to help you understand it, and most importantly, they're going to help you get rid of the shame, because once you feel that shame, which is programmed into you, it's nothing that you just decided on your own. It's something that's been programmed into you from a child, from social media, from news, from school, how to behave, how to do this. Okay, they don't teach you how to express rage in a healthy manner. You need to go out to a field and scream for 10 minutes to release it. Scream. But instead of screaming, I hate you, die, go, all of those things, go scream, teach me, show me, how do I understand this? I'm angry and I have every right to be angry. Use the words to your advantage. Use the words to tell the universe exactly what you're trying to understand. And when we can speak life into that and use those words and speak clarity. I need clarity. Help me understand. Welcome, Christina. When we can get to that point, we're really at a good space, because when you can understand it, speak into it, speak it with love, even through rage, speak it with love, and understand our lines that cannot be crossed, we allow that space for healing. We allow that space for compassion for others, but first for ourselves. And that's most important. And now I just want to talk a little bit now how to create a pause before reacting. Breath, grounding, naming the emotion. I feel rage right now. But why do I feel rage? Because rage is just an emotion that is connected to usually what? Fear? Fear is usually one of the biggest one, which there will be content coming up on that this month too. And then, so I want to give an example, but wait, first thing I want to talk about, a little journal, a little ritual. I'm one of the worst people to journal, but what I have learned, sometimes writing is so freeing and it's good, but I have to be in that mindset. And sometimes being in rage is not that mindset. You're not ready to do that. But if you take a voice note and you record yourself, then you can go back and you can hear it and you can pull it up. And I have journals and journals. Actually, if you go to my website, creativelyguided.ca, I have my When the Villain Meant Well. And then I also have my guided I Am and Gratitude, 60 Days of I Am and Gratitude is a guided journal. So And it speaks on this a little bit. I just wanted to go a little more deep in this because I got stuck on the rage part for quite a while. I didn't wish bad on anybody, but I was so angry and I couldn't understand why. And when we get to that space where we can't understand why, we want to understand why, but we can't, we really, really, we punish ourselves because we don't know how to understand it, how to express it, how to move forward. And then I'm healing, I'm healing, I'm healing. Why do I feel this rage? Right? And then you punish yourself because you think you're going backwards, but you're not. You're exactly where you need to be because it's trying to teach you something so you can use that to move forward. So when you can figure out what it is, if it's a boundary, a need, or truth, whatever it is you need to know or understand with that, that's your starting point. That's your boundary. That's your line in the sand. This is where I start. This is where I move forward. And then the first thing you're going to do, once you recognize what it is you're going to say, thank you. Thank you for showing me so I can understand. Because now you've already turned that rage into gratitude. So we're turning that into light. That's transmutation in its purest form. Now when you're doing that, thank you, because now I have a solid space that I can move forward to my next question, to my next thing I need to understand. And as you do that, now you're coming from that bottom line. This is what I need to understand. This is how I understand. Now the next step. And it doesn't matter if it takes a million. Welcome, Rotrot? Welcome. Rot? I don't know, sorry. If I butcher your name respectfully, I don't mean to. I can't read either, I don't think. Okay, so I talk about some of my examples. I'll tell you a story. I don't want to go into in depth, but we'll talk about last year. I post all my stuff on here, so it's not like you can't go back and see it. But I have been through the most transformation in the last 5 years than probably most people on the planet. And one part of that was right before Christmas last year. November, right around this time, actually, I lost my job for no reason. Still don't understand why, but it's okay because it was not meant for me, and that's the bottom line. But the place that was supposed to empower low-income families, single moms, things like that, instead was bullying me with eviction notices, and then they went too far because I asked them to work with me for 6 weeks. Instead, they decided 10 days before Christmas to kick us out, completely evict us no matter what. It was a time of trauma. It was a time of crisis for myself and my daughter, and I was angry. I was super angry, and I couldn't understand why. And the point was I needed to learn and understand. I didn't do anything wrong in that scenario. I did everything in my power to work, to compromise, to work together. I had no control over what somebody else did. Did I have a right to feel rage about it? You're damn right I did. But it angered me because I'm like, why am I feeling rage? And I was mad at myself. But I had to lose that because it wasn't me. I hadn't done anything wrong to be mad at myself. I was allowed to feel rage for them for what they had done. But turning it back to myself was how I punished myself for something that I hadn't asked for, I hadn't done anything to deserve. So when I learned that and I finally found that space, okay, why am I feeling shame? And people were like, you shouldn't talk about that. You shouldn't say those things. You shouldn't do that. Why should I feel shame for something that I didn't do? I didn't create that problem. I didn't enable that problem. I stood my own ground. I did everything that I could possibly do. And to show that, the universe showed up and said, yeah, absolutely right. You didn't do anything wrong, which means we didn't go homeless. Okay, last day, when I tell you the final hour, the final moment showed up. I got a place, I got an Airbnb, I got everything that I needed, and I stayed there for 6 months until more stability came. But when I tell you the final hour, it went down to the rails. And it was because I finally had to say, no, I've done everything I could do. I had to learn to stop beating myself up for things that I had no control over. And to do that, you have to learn to sit with that. And you have to sort it. You have to sort that information. If I didn't do anything wrong, How can I be punishing myself? And then, but when you start punishing yourself, I need to just stop there for a second. Because when you start punishing yourself, you're speaking bad things. Oh, you're stupid. You're this. Why do you think this? Okay, now you're manifesting this negative stuff onto your own self. Not onto even the people that did something wrong to you. Not that I suggest that. But you're manifesting it onto your own self. So the reason I encourage everybody to sit with it and figure out that rage and understand where it's coming from, what direction it's pointed, how much needs to be pointed back at ourselves, if any at all. And there's going to be times that, yes, we have to take our own accountability for things. But in doing that, that's how we do the checklist. Did I do this? Did I do that? Did I do this? Did I do that? Any of those things, do I have to be accountable for? Okay, learn the lesson, sit with it. No, I stood tall, I did the right thing, I did it with integrity, I did this. Okay, now, who needs to stand accountable? They have this, they have that. Is there things they could have controlled? Is there things that they didn't understand because they weren't at that point of learning? Was it a organization or something big that didn't see you as anything but a number? That makes a big difference. And yes, they need to stand accountable, absolutely. But sometimes I can't control that. You can't control that. So are you going to keep that rage? No, you're going to do what you say. You're going to speak your truth, file your complaints, do whatever you can do on your end, and move forward. Because you're not going to let that hold you back. But now you know where it is, and you know it stands over here, not here. And that's what matters. Because when I move forward, and you move forward, you're moving forward from I know what I did. I've stood accountable. I've made my changes from my end. I can't control what they do, but I know what my accountability is, where their accountability lies, and I can't control that. I can control this, and I'm going to find a way to move around this in the best way that's going to be beneficial to me. And then move forward and understand 1,000% the universe will send to them their own accountability. Because if they're doing bad things to you, you're not the only one. They're doing it to others. That's going to add up and add up and add up and add up. And because of the law of, I can't even think, law of karma, basically. Okay, what goes around comes back to you. So what goes up must come down, right? Welcome, Sheila. So you need to understand that that's not up to me. And there's no karma, no bad thing that you can do for somebody else or do to somebody else that the universe or God, whoever it is that you believe in, I believe in all of the above, and that's my own thing. I don't push that on anybody. I don't believe religion or any of those things should separate anybody, because at heart, if we're all trying to do our best, that's what matters, right? I go by universal law. That's what I stand by. So anyways, I wanted to take a few minutes now to talk about some actionable steps, okay? So how do you create the pause before reacting? Taking that breath, that pause, that one little pause in the moment, and understanding sometimes you're not going to be able to settle it right then and there. Even if it's the person you love the most in your whole world, in that moment of rage, in that moment of anger, there's no way that is going to be solved in that moment. And when you learn how to walk away, and even depending on how well the communication is between you two, learning how to say, this is not going to be settled, and I need to calm down. I need to process, I need to think, I need to understand, and we can come back and talk about this after. We can have that. We can find compromise or whatever. We can have the conversation. Learning to do that in any situation. It doesn't have to be just relationship, friendships, any situation is the best thing you can do. If there's, you're not going to be able to see that person ever again and have that conversation, doesn't matter. Walk away, because you can sit there with your own self and find out what you need to know. It's not up to you to figure out their part of it. You just need to understand where accountability lies. Okay, so what do I need to be accountable on my own end? Whatever they need to be accountable for, that's their problem to figure out. You don't need to tell them what they need to be accountable for. I promise you the universe will do that for you. Welcome, Tiana and Ray. So write it down. If you can't write it down, take your voice recorder, take a voice note, and Sit with it. When you have a free moment, when you're calm and you're not angry about it, sit with it. Welcome, Mama Trey. Sit with it and just ask yourself, get curious. Okay, what if I didn't do anything wrong? If I didn't, what can I learn from this? What boundary was crossed? What created that fear in me? Ask yourself these questions, and then when you get an answer, and that first answer you come up with, then you say why. And you keep asking why until you stop getting answers. And then you start from that point. Welcome, Midge. Okay, so the actionable steps portion is recognize the trigger. What was it that they said? What was it that they did? Someone cut you off. That's the one that created the anger. F you, blah, 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 right? And it's immediate. Why? Because it triggered fear. Okay? And the anger was the reaction to the fear. Okay? Did anyone get hurt? And sometimes you get quicker at doing this, by the way. And sometimes I'm in traffic and someone does something and I'm like, fuck, right? And then I'm like, okay, wait a minute. No one got hurt. Take a breath. Everything's good. Breathe. We're safe. We're good now. Okay? And when you learn to do that, I promise, it comes faster. It comes easier. And you do it every day. I talk to myself in those moments, and you don't have to if you don't want to, but hearing your own voice tell you that you are safe, everything is okay, and everything is good, in that moment, especially in those moments of fear, is very calming to your nervous system. It takes something that can create such dysregulation, fight or flight, survival mode, and immediately your own voice telling you everything is okay calms you down so fast that it's even hard to understand. And the more you practice doing it, the better and easier it is. Then we have release safely. Move the energy. I'm telling you, I talk about this more than I can begin to even imagine. Walk, shake, breathe, cry. Doesn't matter. I tell people all the time, tap your hands, tap your forehead, tap your temples. Go like this. Move. You're sitting, get up, go start doing dishes. Do things that you go into autopilot. Cleaning is usually a good thing. I don't want to say for just women, but most moms do it automatically. And that's where you do some of your best meditation. God bless, child. Welcome. And Cal and Lucas, welcome. And that's not to be any kind of stereotypical, but anyone that cleans on a regular basis knows very well what I'm talking about. You go into autopilot mode, your brain kind of turns off, and you allow that space. I'm safe, I'm just focused on this task, and that's it. And in those moments, you change the energy immediately. You feeling angry? Get up and move. Get up and walk around the block. Take a breath. Do the breath work. Give yourself a few. Then slow it down. Once you start controlling it, you create that space. But in those moments, the flash of the answer will come to you. It's already there. Why am I so angry about this? And it's okay to yell about it. Why am I so angry about this? Don't try not to do it in the grocery store. You might scare somebody. But if you got to, you got to. Okay? Ask yourself the question. And listen, because it comes and it comes quickly. And there'll be a flash of an answer. And just focus on it. When you get that flash of an answer, it's going to just be to understand. Usually it's a question. Usually it says fear. It's something small, but it will be there. And it will very clearly stand out. And you'll know. And then you're not going to understand it right away. But remember it. Write it down. Do whatever you got to do. And then when you get a moment to sit down peacefully and say, I'm safe here and now. In this moment, I'm safe. Everything is okay. Now, what did that mean? Now you're not thinking from survival mode. You're not thinking from fear. You're not thinking from all those things that hinder you, or shame. Shame is one of the biggest ones that stop this process from happening. And I learned that time and time again. When we come to a point of radical acceptance, we should not be shameful for anything. Okay? There's always a lesson to learn. If we're doing things that are not okay, and we're hurting other people, we shouldn't feel shame. We need to understand why we're doing those things. So maybe there's that second of shame to understand it. And that's your own higher self, your own moral compass telling you, I'm not okay with what I just did. Okay, and when it does that, that's how you start to sit and think. Shame is just an indicator that something doesn't feel right. But holding yourself back or hiding yourself or blocking those feelings or emotions because of that feeling that's programmed into you from social media, from school, from parents, from culture, from all of those things, religion, that shame is, and the idea of it is to help your moral compass. But if you're feeling that and it's hindering you, you need to understand what it is and the tool. Nobody should feel shame for something that happened to them or for trying to understand something, especially when you're trying to change for the better. Welcome, Kim and Moose the Hamster. Welcome. All right, so now as we're moving, when you get up and you move and you're doing the thing, if you can't move, tap your hands. If you can't move, put on some music, do something, sing. Singing is really good for releasing energy, and it's great breath work. Just watch what you're singing. Don't be singing some crazy, too angry stuff, because now you're spewing venom into the world, and we don't want to do that because that comes back. We want as within, so without, right? So now you want to ask yourself, what boundary or truth am I ignoring? If I can't understand what it is, how can I move past that point? And that's when we start asking that question, that's why when I pulled this at the beginning for the energy, that's when that death, that transformation, that's when that comes. This is not somebody dying. This is your old thought process, your old belief, your old programming. It's dying. And it's allowing transformation. You're releasing the shit you can't control, and you're accepting, how do I understand? Now you're making space for the answers that you need to know. So that tower, when it does crumble, it's not a bad thing. It might not feel great in the moment, but you have to sit with it and understand, what am I learning from this? And every single thing, what you do, if you can take that moment and say, what is it showing me about myself, about others? Is it, what can I control? What can I control? How can I make this as much to do with what I can control and fix my own path, stay in my own lane? It's not saying don't help others or anything. I love helping people. It's one of my most favorite things to do, whether it's with compliments, whether it's helping with food, whether it's helping with ideas, helping find spaces or send them places to learn something. I love to help people. It's not a bad thing. But when we get to that place where, because out of shame or fear or any of those things, we're enabling them and we're not helping them, we're not empowering them to do something else, we're hindering our own self, and we're creating that karma for ourselves, and we don't want to do that. So we need to understand what the truth is, or what boundary, or any of what emotion, what is it that I'm ignoring, what's creating that rage? Because we build resentment. When we start helping people and we put ourselves to the back, we're not showing up for ourselves. Like the way we wish somebody would show up for us when we were kids. And maybe some of you had that, and that's wonderful. But a lot of people that deal with that deep rage, they didn't. And so they don't know how to express that. They don't know how to understand that. And these days, we're teaching so much more to our kids, so it's a lot better. But when we can figure out what that is, we create that stable foundation. We create that stable place. And from that next step, I know. And even if I step out of line, even if I step out here or go wrong this way, I know how to come back to that stable, to that solid place where I can ask that question safely. And I know, even if I don't get the answer immediately, I know it's coming. So I wait and I sit with it and I validate it. I don't get stuck in it. I try to understand it and then use that. How can I take that knowledge now, moving forward, when I do my next step? Is that going to help me? No, but 3 steps down the line, it helped me. So you have to just know that what you're learning, you're carrying forward, and it's definitely going to help you in one way, shape, or form. Now, we also want to channel it, right? Art, movement, creativity, conversation. These conversations, people haven't quite started to show up yet, and that's okay. I will post the replays, even on my action steps, any of my lives. I always repost on my YouTube at Creativity Guides Me, and I do that because I know people work, people have their own lives, they have all kinds of things going on, and sometimes sitting for these conversations are hard. Or maybe they want to fast forward, or they want to just pick and choose what they need. And that's because we pick and choose what we're able to process, what we're able to understand, and what we're able to use in that moment. Will we go back maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 times and be like, oh, I kind of understand that now? Sometimes we're like, that's bullshit. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to listen. I'm not ready for it. Blah, blah, blah. And that it happens, and that's okay. But it's just something. It's about planting that seed and getting curious. Not punishing yourself, not beating yourself up, not being angry at yourself. Even when you're angry, you can't be angry at yourself. You have to understand, I'm angry, and I have every right to feel that. When you learn that, you're already validating yourself, which means you're empowering yourself to say, okay, I'm angry and I have every right to be angry. Now, why am I angry? What made me angry? First of all, we know rage, anger is a reaction to fear, right? So what is it about this that scares me so bad? What is it that I have no control over? And that's when you start getting curious. I'm telling you, the answers that will come up and what it will teach you and how it empowers you moving forward is absolutely mind-blowing. That's how you manifest from your purest form. You're not manifesting a hatred. You're not manifesting all those things. You're saying, why does that make me angry? And from this space, you get a clearer definition of what it is you actually want. Okay, so we can manifest all these things, but the universe can't give it to us if we don't know what we want. Well, how do we get clear on what we want? We know what we think we like, but then we think we get that, and then we didn't like that at all, and it was really horrible and really crappy, and it made us angry. Okay, so now I know I don't like that so much, and now I have a clearer line of what I want or what I don't want. So if you know what you don't want, it's a lot easier to narrow it down to what you actually do want, right? The white raw, welcome. So, and then art, obviously, anything art. That's all I talk about. My website is creatively guided. That's what I'm about. Am I a professional? No. Do I love to do it? Yes. I draw. I don't draw well, but I draw. I write. I sing. I do all the things. I wouldn't say I sing well, but I still love to do it. I create and make my teas and make my tinctures. Anything that I create with my hands. I build shelves. I love doing renovations. Anything to do with my hands. That's me personally. But doing that, when I do those things, I allow myself the space. I allow myself to see what that finished product is. And then the more you do, even if you screw it up 10 times, that 11th time when you show up and you see the finished product and you're like, wow, I did that. I did that. I created that and it's fantastic and it's amazing. You're taking it and you're channeling that anger, all of those feelings that you don't understand, and you're allowing your body to lead you and to guide you and how to process it. And out of that, there's always going to come something beautiful. So it doesn't matter how angry you are, it doesn't matter the rage you feel, it doesn't matter any of those things, because at the end of the day, that's, what you're going to feel. And what you're going to end up with is something beautiful. So, and then we have reaffirm. This is really, really important, okay? And say it aloud. Speak it aloud. Let the universe know. Let your mind, let your heart, let your body hear, feel, and see what you're speaking to yourself, because that reminds you you're safe here and now. And from that point, you can do anything, okay? My emotions are valid. I can use them for growth. What am I really protecting when I'm angry? What might this emotion be asking me to acknowledge or change? How can I honor my anger without letting it control me? And then, if this is something that you are asking yourself, then you're allowing yourself to ask deeper and to look deeper. Sorry, I'm checking my guide because I don't want to miss these points because they're super important. And now, it was really important. There was one more thing I have to stop doing. I don't know how to allow these things or don't allow, but I don't want to do that right now. Come on, man. Okay, so now there's a couple more questions we want to ask ourselves. Welcome, Monroe. there's just a couple more questions, and then I'm going to pull some guidance cards because I'm all about action steps. And if you always see my monthly things, TikTok hate train. Welcome, Anthony. Welcome. I think it's Anthony, yeah? All right. So the reason I want to, these are some other prompts that I just want you to think about when you talk about it. I hope you're doing good. What is my rage teaching me? What can I use this to help control? So where does my rage show me I care deeply? So what is that boundary? What is that line that cannot be crossed? And why do you care so deeply? Why is that your line? So when you can see that and you can understand the why, you can almost remember and always get back to it very easily. So that may not be for everybody, but I know for me, when I'm angry, when I'm upset, when all these things are happening, knowing and understanding the why, I'll never forget it. The why is always what keeps me moving forward, okay? And then we have, what change is my anger asking me to make? And that's within yourself, not other people, okay? There's all kinds of things that other people need to stand accountable for, but it's not your job to tell them. It's your job to say, this is my boundary. You cannot cross it, okay? It's absolutely 100% your responsibility for your boundaries. Now, once you say that, this is my boundary, you cannot cross it, and they choose to cross it, now you have to do your due diligence, right? So you need to hold them accountable. That doesn't mean fighting. That doesn't mean wishing death on them. It doesn't mean any of those things. That means, that's my boundary. They lose out on you. You walk away. You leave. You move along. You have to let it go. I can't control what they're doing, and I can't control whether they understand why they're accountable. If they're not willing to make those changes and do those things, then they cannot be in your life, and that's just it. Welcome, tech guy. So, if you guys missed, this is almost done. I just want to take the last couple of minutes, and I wanted to pull a couple cards. Now that we've talked about the transformation spirit, we've talked about how to use it to transform, what is kind of an actionable step to help them? Yeah. So, it says, with Seven of Swords, which is, also means the early bird catches the worm. So I want to take that for 1 second, okay, because this is betrayal, okay, and don't betray yourself. When you show up for yourself, by doing this and taking these actions and showing up for yourself, you're allowing the world to see that you won't let people betray you. You won't let people, you can see the lies, you can see the deceit, and just because you see them doesn't mean you have to fight them, beat them up, wish all kinds of bad things on them. It doesn't mean that. It means you lose out. You try to betray, you try to make me confused, you try to create confusion and deceit, then you're out, because I don't want this in my life. And then be patient with yourself. Always be patient with yourself. Sit with it, understand, and be gentle. It may not happen in one day. It may not happen in 1 second. It's okay. It's definitely okay. I'm trying to keep this under an hour. We may get it. I just want to pull a couple more cards because we went through a lot today, but I think that it's really good. Can I have a gratitude that's going to help them be thankful for how rage works? If you feel burnout, yeah, this is a good one. If you feel burnout setting in, if you feel demoralized or exhausted, it is best for the sake of everyone to withdraw and restore yourself. That goes for anger and rage too. When you're feeling that, you don't have to sit there on display for the whole world, right? You go sit back, you go to yourself, sit with yourself. It's okay. You don't need anyone near you. You don't need any of those things. You just need to sit with yourself and take those moments. Get away from all the things. Close out the area. Walk to your favorite coffee shop for an afternoon pick-me-up, or brew a cup of tea as you take a few minutes to reflect and recharge. And you know that I love my teas. That's what I make on my website at creativelyguided.ca. That's one of my most favorite things. My gratitude tea is one of my It's the backbone of my actual website, of my whole business, of my whole brand. So it's really important. Tina, welcome. If monks and nuns do not cherish their time of practice, they will have nothing to offer the world. Find peace in your extraordinary efforts. Your work is not in vain. When you sit with those things, what rage, and understand what it's trying to teach you, and you sit with it and you just get curious. You don't shame yourself. You don't hinder yourself. You don't get mad at yourself. You don't punish yourself. You don't call yourself names or other people names. You understand that when you can show up in compassion for your own self, you start to see compassion for other people too. And it makes it a lot easier. Actually, I want to do the creativity one. And there's a reason. Also, the Moonology is really important for this. But what I want for this deck, please, I want you to give me one theme, one idea how they can channel the rage into something creative that's going to help them move forward. Happy accident. Fortunate accidents can act as guides to edit and be open to where you should go next. And actually, I like that. When you understand, what is it, 61? When you treat rage and treat those bad things, those things that don't feel great, the things that make you angry, that bring rage, you treat it as a happy accident. And I know that's kind of being facetious, but, that pissed me off. Why did that piss me off? And now you're like, oh, I need to learn something. And when you can treat it and look at it like that, you're absolutely allowing yourself to flip the script. You're not letting it beat you up, wear you down, fill you with shame, not letting it hide you. You're letting it move forward. And you're like, oh, that pissed me off. That made me really upset. But you thank the universe for it. Because if you be like, oh, happy accident, it happened, now what can I learn from it? I'm telling you, your whole brain scripts, it's not a problem. You're not a victim. It's an opportunity for learning. And those things, that's how the best things in life happen. The happy accident card is an indication that the solution to your current situation will arise spontaneously through an event that will at first be seen as some kind of mistake or failure. I love when Spirit confirms. Thank you. These gifts from the muses can be recognized for blessings, that they're only if you are able to not be distracted by what appears to be an error, omission, or other annoyance, and instead see these mirror irritations as signposts indicating a happy accident may be found right alongside them. Recognizing happy accidents is the clearest sign that you are an artist. Cultivate this ability because it requires that you refrain from harsh judgments and knee-jerk, unconscious reactions when apparent mistakes or failures are identified. Staying calm when facing what can easily be seen to be avoidable mistakes is the mark of the master magic maker. You create your own reality. Okay, I'm going to do this one too because it came out and it was reflection. But I think happy accident was really the greatest way. But I'm going to do this one because it was on there too. And reflection is one of the best things you can do for your own self. And that's exactly what I was talking about. So they want me to read it. Time to focus, balance, reflect, and guide yourself past stumbling blocks. Take the right actions. When I tell you Spirit confirms for me, they confirm. The reflection card is an indication that the problems you may be having with the matter in question are the result of too much activity or forward movement and not enough taking time to calmly evaluate the situation, either on your part or the part of another person involved. It is an invitation to sit comfortably, breathe slowly and deeply, and experience your present situation lightly in your mind's eye. The center of your consciousness in your mind's eye, the center of your consciousness. I can't read today. It is time to see things as they really are, stripped of all extraneous trappings like expectations or recognition. The creative process often creates numerous secondary attachments and unintended consequences that can easily confuse and disorganize even the best of intentions and the most organized efforts. Reflection is the pause that refreshes. It should be an integral part of every creative endeavor, especially at the beginning, midpoint, and the end. Now, the reason it's saying that is because when we take that moment and we can reflect on that anger, on that rage, why it happened, how it come, we can then reframe it as the happy accident, what is teaching us, and understand that just as serendipitously as the universe sent that happy accident, that thing to reflect on, that anger, that rage, all of those things, just as quickly as that happened, the answer will come if you sit with it and you understand that in this moment, we are safe, we're loved, we deserve love. Everybody deserves love. And when we can show up like that, that compassion for ourselves then becomes easier to give to everybody else. Welcome, Renee and Slick Soul. Welcome. I want to do, what time do we got? I definitely want an angel number, but I'm going to do that one and an affirmation at the end because they're really important if I don't break my printer in the process. Yeah, give me the moonology. And the reason I want to do this one is because just like the cycles of the moon, that's how rage is processed too. And when you understand each cycle, I can't remember what tomorrow's is. I think it's under my computer there. Maybe not. Yeah. I have a new one coming tomorrow, so that'll be 2 days of kind of planting the seed and getting curious, and then on the third day we'll have the discussion, and more people will start showing up because this 11:01 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit. This content is meant to plant seeds, but it's also meant to show you you're not stuck and let you know that you're exactly where you need to be, and it's okay to feel all of those things every single time you feel it. Not just one time, every single time. It's okay. And when you learn how to use that to move forward, that's when you're winning. You're always winning when you can do that. And you start to do it, and you can do it very quickly. Maybe not at first. It takes time and practice. But that realization, it comes, and you transmute it so fast, it's just on to the next thing. What did I learn? How can I use that? And it becomes very quick. And that's what I want to help people do, because I want people to not be stuck on that, oh, I screwed up. Oh, I did this. No. First of all, radically, I forgive myself. I understand. But now I need to understand why I was mad, why this rage happened, what I'm learning from this. And when I understand that, how do I process it? How do I use that to move forward? I'm telling you, it's like an action step that it's very, once you start doing it, it becomes so quick and so easy to do that you almost, it's like you get over that bridge and you look to the other side and you're like, but I only took 2 steps. How did that happen? And you're over this 10-mile long bridge because you get so good at it. But if you get stuck on that step, you could stay at that step for years and not understand what the hell. Expect powerful change. Right at the bottom of the deck. Thank you, Spirit. As soon as you start to see and understand how this can transform you, and you understand exactly what you need to learn in those situations, that rage, don't let your past hold you back. Don't shame yourself. Don't be angry. Don't get mad at yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't carry that torch of shame and humiliation and all those things because you got angry and you were mad. Because there was a reason for it. Rightfully so. And just like the moon cycles, rage fades. Okay, it will fade away. As you sit with it and you validate it and you understand, it fades out. And then it turns into power and strength and empowerment and emotion and love and kindness and compassion for yourself and then for others. It is the transformation, literally, it's on the front of the deck. Sorry, I shouldn't have put it away yet. Just like the cycles of the moon. See how the cycles of the moon are? That's how your rage is. And there's always that still point, and there's always that void. And when you learn to get to that void, process, understand, ask the questions, get creative, move it out, think about it. The void. That void, once you learn, you get really, really, really quickly, you go through the whole cycle as you start to understand it. But when you get to that void, to that clear spot, that space of stillness, that's where you understand. That's when radical acceptance comes in, and that's when you're like, that aha moment, that I get it. Holy crap, how come I didn't get it for so long? But I get it now. And when you get to that point, the ability and the amount of calm that comes over you, you can turn off co-host for this live. Yes, please. Thank you. Okay. Welcome, Shazad. I can't do the co-host because I'm focused on a task and I can't be messing. Maritone, welcome. Okay, can I have a star seed just to do with the rage, something to help focus it, understand, and action steps for moving forward? Thank you. Jump in. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay, jump in. You don't get through rage by avoiding it, by ignoring it. You have to dive in. You have to sit with it. You have to feel it to understand it. You gotta feel it to heal it. That is one of those lines, the little cheesy ones, but it's true. Dive in. Do it. Get curious. Don't dive in to beat yourself up or punish yourself or anybody else. Just dive in to get curious. Adventure. Say yes to change. Treat it as an opportunity to understand and then sit with it. Just wait. Sit in that void and let it tell you what you need to understand. Get curious about the questions. Take those questions and use them as your compass, as your guideline. Let the answers tell you, but you can't hear it if you don't sit still with it. It's so, so important. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, I know that I have the fire flame. I can actually see the card that I think it's going to spit out, but that's why I'm doing it, because it's like when you see it and you understand, because when you understand that rage is the purifying flame, it literally brings everything to its purest point. It burns out all those other things. When you get through and you dig through all of that thing and you come back to compassion, understanding, and radical acceptance, you can move forward and you can take all of that information and starting with more compassion for yourself, but then more compassion for everyone else around, because when you understand, well, I didn't learn it till now. If I'm just now starting to understand it, how can I expect that these other people know it? They probably don't. They're probably not self-aware yet. They probably don't understand. And even if they're beginning to be self-aware, understanding your rage and learning how it can be used to manifest, how it can be used to understand yourself and your boundaries and your moral compass to its purest point, it takes a little bit of digging. And a lot of people are afraid to do that digging because the shame and the fear and all those things that it also brings up. Because we know rage and anger is the reaction to fear, right? Which is part of the content. I'm not sure. It's either next or a couple in. And the reason I do it like this, sitting in threes. So I'm going to tell a little story because my daughter, I always call it the 3-bite theory. Okay, welcome Gabby and Sanan. Welcome back, Tech Guy. So it's the 3-bite theory. So I always made this agreement with my daughter. If I make something and you absolutely hate it, then I won't make you eat it and I'll make you something different. But the only way to do that, you have to have 3 bites. You know, the first bite, she's going to be like, whatever. Nope, nope, nope. That's just sheer defiance. The second bite is going to be just no, because that defiance is still there. But by the third bite, you know, you've already planted the seed and they've already tasted it a couple of times. And almost, I actually haven't seen a time that by the third bite she didn't actually like it. So I always take everything, and in my own actions and my own things that I do, I call it the 3-bite theory. When you start with just the question, the anger, the upset, whatever it is, and then you just get curious. So the first day is just understanding what it is and what we're focused on. The second day is asking the questions, just planting the seeds and trying to understand what it is, just getting curious. Not being mad, not being upset at yourself, not even judging your questions, just asking the questions, seeing what those questions are, and sitting with them. And then day 3 is that conversation, right? It's that conversation, the ability to get curious, the ability to dig a little deeper and understand those questions and how to use those questions to your best benefit. PH back, welcome. All right, can I have a Beyond the Media, something to help? Full spectrum, I like that. Understanding the whole situation. I love this deck. I love the author. I just absolutely love the art and how beautiful this is. The number is at 26. And I promise, yeah, full spectrum. Once you can understand the whole thing and understand that it's not just one simple thing, it's pretty amazing. Welcome, Ashley. What does heaven on earth look like to you? Do you imagine lush green nature, ancient forests, pristine beaches, crystalline water systems in harmony with each other? And yet nature, in its purest, rawest form, is a balance of life and death, growth and decomposition, the eaters and the eaten. In one way or another, this is the natural flux of life. We already live in Eden, but our efforts to own and segregate bring us further away from this paradigm. Power trips, the need for imagined security, fear or avoidance of the shadow keep us out of our freedom. The need to preserve and hold on tightly only stunts our growth and leaves us drowning in a sea of plastic. The real disease on earth, the barrier to Eden, is in our minds. Life happens, but it's our perception of good and bad and our black and white judgments that prevent us from seeing the grander truth. Man, this card couldn't be more aligned. I can't even, it's perfect. When you find that balance, to understand it, this is beautiful. Thank you, Spirit. When duality becomes one, we will find Shambhala before us. Perhaps we can find inspiration from nature and the animal kingdom. Does the tiny frog spend its days anxious over its vulnerable future? What happens when we realize fertile compost greets us when we allow ourselves to transmute our pain? Exact 11:11 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit. New beginnings. That's how they start. When we honor all that came before, our roots are nourished, and we grow with more vitality, vibrancy, and life force. Ooh, my ears are ringing. Yeah, this is on point for sure. We can anchor more light for the collective, and in turn, seed new growth. Which is the 11:11 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit. Welcome, April. What happens when we realize the keys to our future are in the wisdom of the earth and the dreamings of the indigenous? The answers are in the geometry of the macro and microcosm, the nurturing embrace of oneness, in Mama Nature's arms. What happens when we find peace within the full spectrum of life? Even the notion of separation in this disease can be symbolized as no more than a blackened leaf on a healthy tree. The ebb and flow of our evolution and de-evolution is a temporary blip in the universe. The message is to be what we can, to ground heaven on earth, but not out of fear. We often try to avoid or run from negative situations, but when fear steers our decisions and actions, far more devastating can result. When we choose to let our hearts lead us away from stories and outdated patterns, our challenges become the fertile compost that feeds our ascending tendrils as they reach to the heavens and ground its light back on earth. Welcome, Jojo. Step out of the black and white mentality of judgment. Go beyond the concepts of good and bad. This card invites you to honor the full spectrum of life and find a new way of perceiving your situation. When we judge something, we create a story around it. These stories often create limitation. Subconsciously, we gather so many of these stories over a lifetime. To heal our dis-ease and crystallize the new way, we need to create a space of no story where miraculous healing can happen. This space empowers us to be all we are and follows us to know our truth. I think that. Embrace the full spectrum of creation in all her colors and the raw, muddy, earthbound shadow parts of a situation to determine whether they are actually bad or if stories you have held on to are limiting your perspective. Welcome, Jabo. The reason that's why I'm so, I believe in this so much. I felt that rage, and when I tell you that rage, the bottom of my soul, and it won't leave, and I can't understand it, and I'm always pretty even keeled. I'm pretty happy, but that rage and that resentment can happen for other people because you didn't speak your truth. You're holding a resentment for somebody where you created an expectation that they couldn't live up to, and which they had no obligation to live up to. So when we learn and understand that, that's when we learn that how to radically accept, okay, that was my own thinking, that was my own mind space, that was my own expectation that created this. How can I have resentment for someone or something based on an expectation that I created? They didn't give me that expectation. They didn't create that within me. I created that within myself, and then how can I move forward without that resentment? You learn how to radically let it go when you can understand that if you don't speak your boundaries, if you don't speak those things and someone crosses them, you can't be mad at them because they crossed them, because they didn't know. It's a lot easier to begin compassion for yourself and for others throughout. What am I looking for now? Oh yeah, I want my angel number. Lots experiment. Welcome. Okay, so we're coming to the end now. Crystal Adams, welcome. Is that Crystal? Crystal? Hi, Crystal. So now we're coming to the end. We got pretty much through the rage and some action steps, how to move forward, how to find the positive in all of it. What was that sound? How to find all the positive, how to do all those things, but most of all, how to show compassion for yourself, how to move forward from a healthy place, and how to let it all fall down and release all of those resentments, anger, and get curious. Start asking questions so that the answers empower you moving forward. Okay, can I have... Well, okay, can we get our crap together, please? Can I have one angel number to help focus, show people when they're getting angry, maybe just to remind them a little bit and say, hey, my angels see me, they know, and this is where I need to stop. 888, shut up, Spirit, I love it. Oh, you got two. Okay, so I got two, so I'm going to give you both of them. We got 888, which is karma, which is a good thing to remember, because see, everyone talks about karma, but they don't really, like, as soon as someone says karma or karmic, they automatically think bad. But if you're putting out good things into the world, how can you expect what's going to come back to you to be bad? Like, we have to get rid of the negative connotation on everything. The negative connotation on rage. It is a valid emotion. It's something that's there. So when we reframe that and understand that there is no good or bad in it, it's how we respond to it. Not react, it's how we respond. How we use that to teach us. Okay, there's so many bad things that happen in the world, but they just are. But if they didn't happen, how would you know what was good, right? There's always going to be a balance, and as long as there's good and evil, which there always will, and again, quotations, good and evil, for there to be one extreme, there has to be another. That's the law of duality, right? And that's the idea, is to bring it into balance. Instead of the extreme of good, the extreme of bad, it's learning how to reel it in and find that balance, right? Because now we have the good and the bad. And if you don't want to be extremely full of joy, you want to be happy and at peace and balanced, right? If you step out of one way or the other, the universe will always guide you back in. And when you understand that it's trying to help you from a place of love, not a place of fear or shame or anger, it's showing you to understand how to guide yourself and how to be autonomous and how to lead yourself accordingly to your own beliefs, to your own desires, to your own intuition, period. Welcome, Dolly. Oh, Vars, I'm almost done. You came a little too late. Welcome, Bia and Robert. Okay, so anyways, the number I pulled was 888, which is karma. Not always a bad thing, so we need to understand that. balance, what I was just talking about, prosperity, success, wealth, cycles, cause and effect, and gratitude. Abundance is on its way. See, not negative connotation, not. Don't think karma is always bad. It's only bad if you're doing bad things. Still bad, again, in the quotation marks. We got to get out of the bad. Because even when it's bad or negative coming to you, it's to guide you back into that good, to that balance, to that love for yourself first and then for everybody else. And to do it in an empowered way. So we're not enabling, we're not doing all those other things. Welcome, Marcos. So abundance is on its way, and it extends beyond just financial wealth. This is a reminder that true fortune encompasses all aspects of life. If you don't appreciate those around you today, they may not be there tomorrow. Take responsibility for your actions and use this awareness to unlock your greatest potential. 888. That was perfect alignment to understand coming back into balance and how to understand rage and use it as a proper teacher. And then we have 2424. It gave me two, so I have to tell you about it. Good times, relaxation, joy, harmony, love, kindness, happiness, support, and unity. You are deserving of affection, relaxation, and joy. Open up to your family and friends about your feelings, and you'll find everyone aligned and working together harmoniously. Many people are cheering for you. When you spread love, it returns to you multiplied, which just, again, aligns with karma. What you put out, you get back. When you feel rage, you don't think that you're spewing it out into the world. Because when you're angry and you need to scream and you need to understand, it's about learning how to understand why. What created that rage? How do I get to the core of this so it doesn't trigger me into a fit of rage where I'm spewing venom and doing those? What is it teaching me about myself? What is my bottom line? What is my boundary that was crossed? What is the fear that it created in me? Why did it create that fear? How do I rise above that? How do I understand that so the next time that happens, I don't get triggered and spew venom and hate and anger and say, oh, this happened before. I understand. How do I use that? Oh, thank you for the lesson. I know how to come back to myself. I know how. This is my safe space. This is where all my answers are. This is where everything I'm ever going to need in this world is right here. If I can get quiet, listen, and understand. And to do that, you have to ask the right questions. You have to be willing to listen without judgment to your own self, because sometimes it's just a quick flash. Sometimes it's a reminder, and maybe you have to walk through that fire 1,000 times. It's not going to be something that, it takes practice. I'm 44 now. I think I'm 44. And it took me 42 years to even start understanding it. I mean, as a child and stuff, growing up, I tried to understand it, but you can only understand this layer. Until you master this layer, you can't go any deeper because you don't understand. And that's what many people are. 11:22 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit. Many people are like that. And just because they're not at your level of understanding doesn't mean you hold anger or hate for them. And when you learn to hold that compassion for yourself and understand your boundaries and understand how to stand up for them in a healthy way, you then also learn to have compassion for yourself. And in having compassion for yourself, you understand you're able to have compassion for other people. And that doesn't mean enabling them or continuing to allow their crappy behavior if they're not treating you good, but it means standing up for yourself and saying, this is your opportunity, this is my bottom line, and it cannot be crossed. And then if they cross it again, with love, not your problem, you can't help them, you've done the suggestion. If they don't stand up, 11:23 on the clock, thank you. If they're not standing up and even attempting to do the right thing and be accountable for their portion, then you move on. No hate, no anger, with absolute compassion, and you say, thank you for all of the things I've learned, but we don't align anymore, and I can't be a part of any of this, and that's okay. And that's how you radically accept, and you move on, you wish them the best, and that's it. Hi, Kai baby, welcome. I'm just about to get off here. if you missed it and you're curious about what I'm talking about, as soon as I'm done here, I'll repost it on my YouTube. I know the lives on TikTok you can't really replay on here, but I'll do a couple highlights and maybe I'll post it on my YouTube at Creativity Guides Me. Go check it out there, and I'm still going to be doing some lives for the action steps. Next up will be Sagittarius. That will be maybe this afternoon. I kind of want to give it a little time for this to sit in because this fire and flow content is really important, and I think that the more people see it, the more people can get unstuck from that space where they think they're doing something wrong and they're not. Okay, last thing, I almost forgot the affirmation, and we know I live my life on affirmations. Yes. No matter what you're feeling, no matter how your anger flows, no matter what it's trying to teach you, start with this affirmation. I bring peace with me wherever I go. It's right here. I bring peace with me wherever I go. When you can come back to that space, that safe space, you allow that for yourself and you can start asking questions and understand. And then we have, I am willing to see my sameness with others. This opens my awareness to oneness. When you start affirming these and understanding them, it's a lot easier to understand why the rage came up. It's a lot easier to forgive people because they don't understand it quite so soon. It makes, welcome, Teo Johnson, welcome. So when we start affirming these things to ourselves, we're allowing space for that rage. We're allowing that rage to teach us, and then we're affirming, I bring peace with me everywhere I go. And when I understand my sameness with others, I understand how easy it is to give compassion for those same people who are angry or might feel rage and not know how to express it, okay? I love you guys. I'm going to post this on my YouTube again at Creativity Guides Me. Also, if you want to check out my teas or my guided journals or my story, When the Villain Meant Well, it is a reflection journey. That's where my teas are. My art, handmade artwork, my alignment bundles, all stuff that I create. I love doing that. It makes me happy, and I love sharing it with you guys. So if you want to check it out, please go check out my website at www.creativelyguided.ca. And keep your eye out because tomorrow will be a new content for 2 days, and then there'll be a live on that to discuss it. That's my Fire and Flow series, and that will also be posted up on my website here in the next couple of weeks. So I love you guys. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for listening. For everybody that catches the live replay, please leave a comment, questions, things you'd like to talk about. Maybe you're not ready to understand it yet. That's okay. There's more coming, and it's going to help you understand it. I love you guys, and I hope this helps.